The Home Tech Podcast is supported by you. To find out more, go to HomeTech.fm/support. This is the Home Tech Podcast for Black Friday, November 27th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
And from Denver, Colorado, I'm Jason Griffin. How you doing, Seth?
Good, man. Good. Are you ready for... So we record this on Wednesday. Tomorrow is the big day.
Yes. I'm as ready as can be, I suppose. This is my first year. I'm 39 years old, Seth, and I've never cooked a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's a treat.
I've always been with family, so I've always either been with my parents or with in-laws, where I get to sit on my butt and watch football and not have to worry about all that. And this year we're not traveling, and so I decided that come hell or high water, like we're gonna have a turkey for Thanksgiving. And so I've got it. I'm doing the dry brine thing. I don't know if you've heard of this, but you just rub it with a salt mixture like the day before. I got that done this afternoon, and we'll see how it goes. What about you? What are your plans?
So Thanksgiving is our big holiday that we like to have because it involves every food that we like to have. So
there you go.
In past years, and I would say for the past 10, maybe longer years, maybe 15 years, 10, yeah, maybe longer. We've had what we call a pre-Thanksgiving Thanksgiving. It's just kind of a warm-up for the Thanksgiving, which is actually the entire Thanksgiving meal done maybe before Thanksgiving, like in November. So we get ready.
So it's like a trial run?
It's a trial run. This is where you can go in, you can experiment with new dishes, you can try out different...
That's smart.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a pre-go and then a pre-game, and then you get warmed up for it, you see, and then So now we're
like where your head's at.
We're seasoned professionals when it comes to Thanksgiving meals and turkeys. I've done at least one or two so far, but yeah, you're right. When you're around family, generally parents or grandparents take that kind of thing over, and you don't have to worry about it.
I've been spoiled.
Yeah. Have you seen the fried turkey things? Have you?
I definitely have. Yeah, my brother fries a turkey every year, so I always get some pictures and videos from him, and of course I've seen all of the train wreck videos online of people lighting things on fire inadvertently. It sounds delicious. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're throwing ours in the oven this year, but
it's not a starter turkey to go with. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
Also don't do that in your garage, right? Like you don't want to. That's where for some reason there's so many fires every year, and it's like they were frying the turkey in their garage, and of course it burst into flames, and there's just no stopping it at that point. I don't know why people start them in the garage.
It's painful. Well, we are here for our annual Black Friday show. We're going to do a little bit of that. We're also going to do something a little bit different this year we haven't done in the past. We've got some things, Seth, that we're thankful for that we're going to share related to the home tech and the show. Been a bit of a tough year, so we're looking forward to taking this opportunity to kind of look back and say, hey, hasn't all been bad. There has been some good out of this year, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But before we jump in, Seth, I found, I think, the most compelling Black Friday deal for parents that I've found so far. Are you ready for it?
Hit me.
Okay. Cheap batteries at Staples.
Are they double A's? I need some double A's.
They got the double A and the triple A. They got it figured out. Literally, I saw this and I was laughing because I had just been on the phone the day before. I was talking a FaceTime call with my mom, and we've got all of these, I don't know if you've seen these, like the Hallmark things. They're snowmen, and you push a button and they sing and move and do songs. Well, we've got a bunch of those because my mom sends us one every year. Well, they're all out of batteries. So my kids are just every 5 minutes, hey, this one needs batteries, this one needs batteries. And I made a comment to my mom. I'm like, it is the season of batteries here at our house. And so I bookmarked this one.
Guaranteed 10 years, they say. 10 years.
Staples, they've got them down from $20 to $14 for the big pack of double A's. So there you go. Pro tip.
Yeah, pretty good pro tip too. It's funny. My wife, I went somewhere today and I came back home. My wife was gone, and I was like, "Where did they go?" And she was out buying batteries for a toy that needed some AAA batteries. So yeah,
it's constant, man.
Could have used this.
I literally had one person when we were getting ready to have our first child, You get all the unsolicited advice, about parenting when you're getting ready to have your first. And one person said, buy lots of batteries. And that was one of the very few pieces of advice that ever stuck.
Yeah, there's some kind of now I don't know. I feel bad going through as many batteries as I do because, as you know, every toy has at least 2 to 3 or sometimes some random number of AA batteries in them. And I feel bad. I know there's a technology that you can use that is like, remember the rechargeable batteries, and they'd work for like 3 minutes and they would stop.
Oh yeah.
There's some new technology that they have out there, and it's like way better, evidently. And I haven't actually looked into it long enough to like start replacing all of my AA batteries or whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I'd have to look into that. I haven't used rechargeables in forever. I'm sure that technology has probably come a long ways. Worth looking into.
Yeah. I know they got a bad rap because they weren't very good.
Right.
It's kind of horrible. Yeah. But there's some new stuff out there. I was listening to another podcast they were talking about them, and I meant to go back and look and see what they were talking about and couldn't find it. And of course, probably a year or two has passed since then. And it's one of those things that sticks in the back of my mind every time I go to the over to the shelf. We have these massive packs of batteries from Amazon on, and I think about, wow, I should probably be swapping these out with rechargeable versions.
I hear you. All right, well, enough about batteries, Seth. What do you say we get into some Black Friday deals here?
Let's do it.
It's another good year. We're going to move down through a few categories here. We've got, in no particular order, mesh Wi-Fi. We've got some smart speakers and displays, TVs, streaming devices, as well as some home security and a few other odds and ends, Seth, that I know you found some gems here. So we'll jump into that. But starting with the mesh Wi-Fi, continues to be a really popular category. I noticed that Eero has a bunch of stuff going on. I noticed one in particular that if you're not, like, if you don't feel like you need the latest and greatest, and you're okay with like getting a version that's a generation old, they've got the Wi-Fi 5 bundle, the bundle of 3, down from $250 to $175.
Nice.
So that's a pretty good deal. Again, like I know a lot of us are, and I'm this way too. If I'm going to buy something, I typically always want the latest version. But if you were looking for just like a good deal, that feels like a steal to me.
I feel like the Wi-Fi 6 thing it's still early days, and I'm sure that like I barely think it's been made like a standard, or it's not a standard yet. It's kind of like that early time where they're like, yeah, it's Wi-Fi 6, and they wink at you, but nothing's really been like said it's Wi-Fi 6. And then like it comes out
right,
and like, oh yeah, it was Wi-Fi 6 the whole time, and it was really kind of like a pre-release thing. I feel like that's kind of the time we're in right now, because there's really not too many devices. The new phones have Wi-Fi 6 in them, but there's not too many devices out there that actually could use it, much less many people that have like the internet connection that's going to support it anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's very true.
I think if you're gonna if you're in for this bundle here, I think the Wi-Fi 5, that's a great price, $175. Get that. Wait a couple more years, and then guess what? You can buy the Wi-Fi 6 version for $175.
That's right. That's right.
You come out ahead.
And to contrast it, the Wi-Fi 6 version right now is $479, down from $600. So that's a good deal as well. But I mean, $479 compared to $175, like, it's a good deal. And I know, like, I have a coworker I was just exchanging some messages with today. He's, his parents are having like some Wi-Fi issues, and he was looking around and at different options. And I was like, you should just take a look at this, because, presumably your parents aren't like, they don't need to be on the bleeding edge, right?
Exactly.
And this is a steal of a deal. So that one's worth looking into, I feel like.
Yep, I think so. Nest Wi-Fi 2-pack for $219, usually $299. Not a bad deal. I don't really hear much from the Google Nest crowd very much. All I hear about is Eero these days. Eero, of course, we have our in-house brands of like, I always hear about Ruckus and Ubiquity and that kind of thing, and Arachnus. I really don't hear much of from Nest or Orbi these days.
Yeah, I haven't heard as much from Nest either. The Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi 6 2-pack are $380, usually $450. So those are a fairly good deal, but again, significant chunk of change. I know that, I think I spoke about this last year. My parents have a fairly sizable home down in Arizona, and they put in the Netgear Orbi system at their house and have really liked it. So
Which one did you
that's
end up
my
with?
only experience with it. What's that?
Which one did you end up with?
I've got Eero
Eero. Okay.
in my house. Yeah. But my dad researched it, did his own research, and he ended up getting the Netgear Orbi and has good things to say about it. It's a lot bigger. The Orbis are a big, have a fairly sizable, well, the footprint is small, but they're more tall and a little bit
It's like a book.
bulky.
Like a book if you stood it up on its edge, like a decent reading book, one you would curl up on the couch and read like for months at a time, like that size book, not like a magazine or anything. It's a book.
Yeah, this is like a textbook.
Yeah, imagine a textbook from high school. Yeah, imagine a hard covered textbook from high school. Set it up on its edge, and that's a Netgear.
Yeah, it's not like the 200-page bestseller you pick up at the airport.
Exactly.
before your flight. So yeah, some good deals there. Moving on to smart speakers and displays. Seth, I found a barn burner of a deal on the HomePod. Macy's evidently has the HomePod for $175.
I will be there. I'm gonna send this HomePod Mini back and go get another HomePod.
Yeah,
that's a great price.
You weren't particularly impressed with the HomePod Mini. I know we heard a lot. I got a Twitter message actually. I'll give him a shout out here in just a second, but saying, hey, I disagree. This is great for what it is, but to each his own, right? I know the HomePod Mini wasn't really your cup of tea, and now you can get the full size HomePod there at Macy's for only $75 more.
John Denning, I can't agree with your assessment of the HomePod Mini. It is excellent for what it's meant to be. It's not a primary music source. I reserve that for my $3,000 stereo pair floor standing speakers. Yeah, that's good point.
Fair enough.
But as a HomeKit hub and supporting Thread and intercom, it's fantastic. Also, it's good for background sound when just sitting by you on an end table or nightstand. I'm not going to disagree with any of that.
Right.
I don't think it's a particularly great speaker, I guess. And if that's not what you're aiming for, then all expectations should be met.
Yeah.
I guess. I still think in general the Apple HomePod in general is still kind of a buggy product from Apple, and they have a long way to go to make it like Apple, what we perceive as being Apple quality. But I don't know. It seems like if you find these fringe products like the Apple HomePod, it seems like Apple may put some effort into them, make them nice, and then walk away from it for a while. And I'm hoping that now that the technology is not $300 or $400, that we have a $100 device that most people can afford to put into their house, that Apple is going to put some more, wind behind the arrow type thing, and focus their attention a little bit more on this product.
Yeah, that's a good point. Robert in the chat room also says the real benefit of the HomePod Mini is a voice-first controller, inexpensive and small enough to put in most rooms. So kind of along the lines of your point there. But, on the flip side of this coin, like you just look at the competition that it's up against in terms of form factor. And like you've got the Echo Dot, for example, on sale for $29. Usually only $50. So even at full price, it's only half. And now you can pick one up for $30, which is like nothing. So that, that's a good deal if you're in the you're in the Amazon ecosystem already, and you want to keep things consistent. Throw something in the bedroom or the bathroom, $29 for that Echo Dot. That feels like a slam dunk.
Yep. Your Echo Show, the one you use, the new one, right? The one with the little screen on it, 8-inch, $65.
Yeah, we picked these up, I don't know, a month ago or so. They went on sale early. They're $65. I'm pretty sure that's what we paid for them. I made a note here. It feels like a no-brainer if you're looking for a smart display, just basic. I mean, we don't do anything complicated with it, but at $65, like it was a great deal. I love having it. I was telling you before the show, like use cases are fairly limited, but in the morning when I'm having my coffee, I'll ask for the Reuters news. I get the little 5 or 10 minute video news that plays while I'm making my French press every morning. And that's kind of become a mainstay. And I don't know, it's just kind of nice to have around. I like the little nature pictures that it shows. Those are kind of cool. And then you get the little headlines popping up. So I've just found that it's a nice addition to the kitchen, very low price. We haven't used any of the video calling yet, but going to go out on the limb here and hope that none of my family's listening to the show. We did pick up a couple of these for parents and in-laws for Christmas at that price, and thought that would be fun. Although even with that, I got to tell you, like, I'm wondering, will it really be compelling to do video calls on those when we can just use a phone?
Yeah.
And you can carry it around. So I think the kids will enjoy doing some video calls on those, but the novelty will wear off after a couple, and then it'll be back to FaceTime on the phone.
Well, you can always get the Facebook portal and be the first and only person I known to ever own one for $130. It's usually $150. So you can save $20 there for the Mark Zuckerberg Facebook portal. I honestly, I've put out the call to action a number of times on the podcast and on Twitter, retweeted it through our. I cannot find anybody who's actually owned one of these things, or I've never seen one ever. I do not know who has this stuff.
I don't either. I put this one on here specifically for you, Seth. The mystery continues. Like, if anybody out there has a Facebook portal or knows somebody who has a Facebook portal, we've said this multiple times on the show. We've got lots of listeners, and we still haven't heard from one single person.
Not one.
So I'm convinced that there's like some sort of weird conspiracy going on here, where like these things actually don't exist, but they've got us all fooled, except for Seth.
Maybe they hand them out. Like, if you go to work for Facebook, they hand them out like, here you go. And you're like, what's this? Is that your portal into work? And maybe they use them for their like internal communications. I don't know. Such a weird product.
Yeah.
From just a strange company and over, in general.
Well, I go back to when these came out, and if memory serves, like when these first came out, it was right around the time when Facebook was getting a ton of press for really bad privacy practices, and like, talk about just a terrible time to release a camera that goes in people's homes. So I'm sure that didn't help them out. But I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know anyone who has these, and we'll put it back out there on the show.
I thought of, like, as we're talking, I'm like, Reddit. There has to be a Reddit/r Facebook portal. And sure enough, there is. Jason, do you want to take a swing at how many members this Reddit has?
Ooh. Okay. So this is give me the name of the Reddit again.
/r. Well, it's Facebook portal. Just Facebook portal. This
okay.
It's everything Facebook portal. Tips, bugs, and new features, discussion, requests, etc.
Okay. So Facebook's like, what, billions of users now? In the Reddit portal group, I'm going with 17.
409. And 23 people are online right now. I would have thought a few thousand if this thing, like 409.
All right, that was a little low.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to search and see if there's any more. But I just typed.
But in my defense, Seth, when you compare my guess to the actual number and then you put it in the context of their user base, I was off by like a rounding error.
You could have been. This gets about a post per day from what I can tell.
Yeah, interesting.
So I don't really think there's very much going on with the Facebook portal, but I would be interested if you own it. If you own it, fess up. I want to know who you are.
All right. And if you don't, they're 130 down from 150. So you can buy one and you can be the first person on planet Earth to own it.
I think I'm waiting. I don't want to support Facebook in this manner at all. So I'm waiting for them to like stop making it, and then I'll buy it on eBay.
There you go. Museum.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's shift gears here. TVs, always an interesting one to take a look at this time of year. We'll touch on a few of these. There's a million of these deals out there, and so we're moving high level through these, so we don't gloss our listeners over with a million different model numbers and whatnot. But interesting, starting with the higher end stuff, because there's budget TVs and there's some interesting sort of trends going on there. But the LG has an 86 inch for $1,450, usually $1,900. So even at $1,900 for an 86 inch is still pretty cheap. But if you're in the market for like a really big TV, 86 is massive.
Yeah.
$1,400, not bad.
I'm these prices every year shock me. And they shouldn't at this point, but they still shock me. Like, I was just talking to somebody today about installing $19,000 and $20,000 65-inch plasmas, like that was where it was at.
And you needed like a crane to get them up
Yeah,
on the
they were
wall.
not light. Well, you needed a crane and you needed about 10 people to make sure it didn't fall or drop. One day I'll tell you about the $20,000 Fujitsu Anvyama that we dropped on the floor, cracked and shattered. It was not fun.
Painful. Yeah, I'm looking right now. The LG 86 is the UN 8500 4K LED. So I don't know enough about LG to offer any specific sort of guidance about how high quality of a panel that is, but LG is a good panel maker, and
anything on the highish or end. I mean, heck, a $350 TCL is going to be a great TV these days compared to
Right.
like the 720p sets and everything else that existed before. Like I think most people would never even notice a difference between like a TCL, maybe $500 or $600 TV TCL and a $1,500 Sony. Most people. Now, if you want to get down to critical eyes and looking and pointing out the differences, yeah, of course, Sony's probably going to have the better picture. But if you just need to put a panel up on the wall, you have such a wide range of options of like actually good looking pictures these days.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's we won't stay on this much longer, but yeah, it's everything you would expect. So 4K, 120 hertz. It's got Dolby Vision, HDR10. So yeah, looks like a good deal. Again, if you're in the market for like a really big TV for a media room or something, snatch this one up.
yeah, I will say, Greg in the chat room, I would notice and have noticed. Yeah, I've noticed too when they're like side by side. I can tell. But if I just walked into any random room and saw like a higher end TCL on the wall, I'm like, okay, that's a good picture. And if I go into any random room with a Sony OLED on the wall, okay, yeah, that's a really good picture. But I don't think that if you're comparing like apples to apples, it's one thing. But if you're comparing to apples to like bananas, because TCL is like $600, right? Like it's not a very expensive TV. So it just depends on what your budget is, I guess.
Yeah.
My point is, it's a good picture for $600. That's for sure.
Greg sold a Sony 77 OLED A9 Master Series. That's a nice,
very nice
panel. Nice sale. All right. What else do we got here? 55-inch Sony A8H. This is an OLED. 55-inch OLED from Sony. $1,500. So $1,498. Originally $1,698. So a couple $100 off there. Sony makes great panels, and getting into that OLED technology, again, seems like a pretty good deal there. And then Sony also had a 65-inch X900. I know these are good TVs. This one's $999, originally $1,399. So just right around that $1,000 mark. So a couple of pretty compelling deals from Sony if you're looking for a higher quality set this Black Friday.
Yep. Samsung Q60T LED. Right now, about $2,200. I'm going to say $2,200. Normally $1,500. So, a couple. These are the higher end TVs. These are going to have those excellent pictures on them, right? So, I think anywhere, man. I just seeing the A8H for like $1,500. That's a good price. That's a great TV. It's only a 55-inch TV, but it's a great TV.
Yeah. Eddie says the X900 is just okay in his opinion. Greg points out Sony doesn't actually make the panels. LG does. Sony adds their own processing.
It's the processing.
Yeah. So I think I did know that. So thank you keeping me honest there, Greg. Moving on here into the budget category. So really notice like in that 50-inch option. So if you're looking for like that medium size 50-inch panel, there was a lot. We're not going to, again, go through a ton of these, but there was quite a few options in the $200 range this year. So heck of a deal. Like, again, that 50-inch size range is kind of nice sometimes for bedrooms. If you don't want like it's a little bit on the bigger side, I would say, for a lot of like guest bedrooms and things like that. But if you want like a decent sized TV in some of those secondary bedrooms, I mean, you can pick up a 50-inch now for under $300. There were some good options out there. The TCL 50-inch, $230. I've been very happy with the TCL I got for down here in the office. So yeah, I mean, take a look at that. Samsung has a 70-inch for $500, and then Vizio another 70-inch for $650. And we'll include a link in the show notes where we're pulling all these from, so you can get model numbers and all of that. But generally speaking, again, just wanted to point out that, yeah, those 50-inch panels have become very, very cheap, and you get a decent set now for under $300, which is just insane.
Wish I had a wall for a 70-inch TV. I don't even have a wall in my house that would be like, yeah, that you would come in and be like, that's out of place, sir. Like, it does not look right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then shifting gears into home security here, a ton of deals. Ring has a whole bunch of them. Ring had a 14-piece alarm set for $200, down from $330. So that's a pretty good deal if you're looking for kind of a starter set. Seth, one that I'm particularly interested in and looking to pull the trigger on here is the floodlight cam.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a good neighborhood. I don't want to make it sound like we live in a bad area, but we've had a string of, probably just some people coming into the area from who knows, and just picking off cars. Like there's been a string of break-ins. And so my car sits out in the driveway. We've got a 2-car garage, but half of it is full of kids' toys and all that junk. So the car's out in the driveway, and I'm thinking about picking up one of these floodlight cams. I got a perfect place for it right over where the car is parked. So pretty good deal. I think I'll pull the trigger on that.
Not a bad deal at all.
190, if I didn't say that. Yeah, 190 down from 250.
Doorbell 3 Plus is 160 instead of 230. That's a pretty good price on that one. August door locks, $299, down $100 from $399. Still pricey on that one, but I know a lot of people love August as a good product. So I have an old, I don't know what this is, quickset lock that has died, and like a savage, I'm having to unlock my door with a key. And I am in the market for a new door lock.
Humanity.
So I've got to start keeping my eye out for what kind of door technology I want to use. I know August is pretty good.
Yeah, man, there's some good options out there now. So it's like you said, that's a good price. Still a chunk of change, but they've got a lot of good deals out there. So Seth, I know you've got a link here, Amcrest.
Yeah, this is a little email they send for their Black Friday specials, which aren't actually any more special than the email they send out most every week for the products that they have. I forget which brand of cameras these are OEM from, maybe Dahua or something, but Amcrest actually does a pretty good job with their software, believe it or not. So the setup is actually pretty good sometimes, and I haven't ever had a problem with finding updates or updating the cameras or anything like that. And they're fairly low priced. So one of the things that they have on here is a 1080p Wi-Fi doorbell with HD camera for $79.99. I think it's usually about $100 anyway. So only $20 off, but I figure mention that as something that you can get on Amazon for $80. Not a terrible price. I haven't checked this one out. It's got a lot of stuff on it that I wish like the Ring had. Like it's got a local SD card you can put in it for local storage. It's got RTSP for hooking up to like an NVR or something like that. So you can actually hook it up as a security camera wirelessly. But I have never used one of these, and I already have this G4 doorbell clearly still sitting here that I haven't broken out the hammer drill to install at the front door yet. But I'll get to it. I promise. I'll get to it.
Seth, they got baby monitors here.
They do. But again, I'm not a fan of the Wi-Fi baby monitors where you have to use an app on your phone. Like I have my phone and usually I'm using it and I don't want to be watching a baby on it. So I like the RF, like the old school RF baby monitor. There's a lot of reasons to like those, but I have a lot more that I don't like them with. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, some good deals on here as well.
Yeah, not terrible. They have there you go. There you go, Jason. There's a 1080p HD floodlight for $149. So beats out the Ring by what, $30-$40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things like I know there's other options out there. I'm already kind of in the Ring ecosystem, right? And that's how they get you.
Yep.
So I'll be going Ring, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, that's becoming the perpetual challenge these days is there's so many good deals out there, but what is it worth to you to stay in the same ecosystem? Right.
Yep. that's kind of where I am. I already have like 2 of the Ring spotlight floodlight, these floodlight cams on my house, plus the doorbell. And the doorbell is finicky. It's an older, it's like the first generation Pro doorbell. And it doesn't work. Like it'll randomly just shut off and not turn on, and I won't notice for a while because it's a doorbell, and I don't go ring my own doorbell. But I'll eventually see like somebody walk up to the door and like, oh, the doorbell doesn't work. They didn't press the doorbell. I didn't get a notification. And I'll have to like take it off the wall, power cycle it, and plug it back in. It's really dumb.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yep.
Well, Seth, you got another one here. Twinkly.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So I don't think there's any specials on this. At least I haven't come across any. I know a couple weeks back, Twinkly was running some sales, and you could buy their products for a couple of bucks off for the different types of strands. But these are what do you call Christmas lights or fairy lights, or I'm not sure. They're RGB like pixel lights that this company has made into a product, and you can actually, when you string these up in your Christmas tree, they come along with like this companion app, and you can aim your phone at your Christmas tree or whatever you have it shaped in. It could be just wrapped around a tree or whatever. And the app will determine like where on the tree those pixels are, those individual lights are, and you can basically color them any way you want. So if you want your Christmas tree to be candy cane colored, you can put red and white stripes on there. You want it to move, you can make that happen. I think this is a brilliant product. I think Richard Gunther talked about picking some of those up not too long ago, but
this is really cool.
Have been eyeballing these and really want them. And now, Jason, I have found that there's a Pro Twinkly for professionals. So
all right.
Here we go. Decorate like a boss, it says. So amazing installations without any screwdrivers, pixel software. I mean, so it looks like they have they've taken this to a different level. I know there is, believe it or not, a group of people who are professional Christmas light installers, and they go around and do these things at commercial installs or fancy homes.
Well, I think like some landscape companies around here do that. Like they offer that as a seasonal service.
Yep. So this would be marketed, I guess, towards them. And there's a bunch of different things you can do here. Cloud management it has. This has got everything.
You got to have that remote management.
They've got their own version of Oversee built into this, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, this is
table
great.
stakes now.
And what's amazing is they have more on the Pro side. They have a lot more product than they have. If you go down to the bottom, there's a spec sheet, and I was scrolling through, like they have dual light strings, and this is all set up with like these are the LED strings that don't have like the regular plug on them. They have they have like what you would expect on a commercial. I don't know if you've ever seen a commercial LED Christmas strand. They have like a different connector to them. It's kind of like a low voltage, like connect together and it screws together.
Yeah.
So they all have that on there, and they have curtains. They have like C9s. They have bulbs, all sorts of stuff. And I can get a 52 foot, or I'm going to go ahead and convert this over to meters for our UK fans over there. 16 meter Christmas tree.
There you go.
Set this up, and so I think I need to get this 52 foot Christmas tree, set it up in my front yard, and go from there.
This is really cool. I like this. I'm having trouble finding the pricing, but I think it was kind of on the higher end of pricing for these.
Yeah. It was like for the let's see, they sell them in different kinds of strands, like different. So if I just need string lights, $249 for 600, $179 for 400, $250 for 99, $100 for $54. So it is a lot more pricey than buying your normal, strand of Christmas lights, but you can't do all these fun effects with them.
Yeah, no, this is really cool. My kids would have a blast with this. So good find.
This 52 foot Christmas tree that I'm going to put in my front yard has 54,000 lights on it.
Jeez.
I really want this now.
That's wild. All right. Well, good stuff there. That'll do it for our Black Friday stuff. Again, we will include some links in the show notes. There's a ton of resources out there, obviously, for if you're looking for the deals. But we wanted to provide a little bit of a high level overview here and provide some of our perspectives and things that we're looking at. So with that done, let's shift gears here, Seth. We got 4 things we want to just run through quickly. Again, it's been kind of a tough year. We've all been experiencing a little bit of angst and difficulty this year, but we've got a few things that we are thankful for here. And speaking of it being a tough year, I wanted to lead out with just, at the top of the list here, working in an industry that's really been spared from the economic impact of COVID. We've talked about this a couple of times on the show before. And of course, never in a million years would any of us wish COVID on the world. It's been an awful, awful thing for so many people. But if anything, on the residential side, at least, a little bit different on the commercial side, of course, but on the residential side, I'd say if anything, it's been a bit of a boon to the industry in some respects. I know supply chain issues have been really difficult and all that, but we've got clients at home more than ever needing their technology to work. And I think to a company, I think every integrator that I've talked to about COVID, again, at least on the residential side, has said that they're probably busier than ever and they're having a better year than ever. And so I know that this one's, personal for me. I've got a twin brother who's a pilot and he thankfully still has a job. He flies for Southwest, but he's been kind of on the edge of his seat since this whole thing started. And just thankful that we're in this sort of industry here where we've been a little bit insulated from some of the worst economic impacts of the outbreak.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are in the industry, just stop selling receivers now. They're not coming back. I'm telling you right now, they won't be back for a long time. Stop putting them in your designs. We as an industry have to figure out how to get around receivers, because I mean there's the supply chain is totally messed up from many things. COVID is one of them, but really there was a fire for the AKM plant or whatever it is. I don't know. We were talking about this on Resi Week this week. This fire lasted for 3 days and took out this entire plant, and that's what they use on the DACs for every single receiver, high-end receiver out there. So those products aren't coming back for a long time. So I don't know how we're going to limp through next year without being able to sell receivers, but we'll figure it out. That's what we do. We're integrators.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, that's crazy. Item number 2 here, Seth, episode 300.
Yes.
We crossed over episode 300 this year. We had a fun episode doing that. We went outside of our normal format and had a good time with that episode, and thankful for that. We've been at this for quite a long time now, over 6 years. 6 years. Yeah, it would have been 6 years in February, I believe. We started in February 2014, I think was when episode number 1 published. So we are over 300 episodes now, and thankful for everybody who listens and the partnership, Seth, that we've formed. This is a labor of love, and you and I both work hard to get this show out pretty much every week. We've missed very few weeks in our time of doing the show. So I'm thankful for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been one of the funnest things we've done. I've ever done. This is, like you said, it's a labor of love, and just getting to sit down and just talk tech every week is just it's a good grounding experience. I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't know when we're going to have vaccines, but I know we're going to have home tech. I'm going to sit down and talk to Jason about some technology. So
that's right.
Yep, thankful for that.
Absolutely. I'll take this next one here, Seth. The guests that we've had on the show this year, I listed just a few here. I don't know if I got them all, and if you're listening and I missed you, I'm really sorry. I put this together in a bit of a rush last night, but Justin Worley, John Clancy, Aaron Amy, Kirk Chisholm, Randy Stearns, Kenny Kim, Kent Dixon, Rob Martins, Paulus Shostin, and Mitch Klein. We've probably had a few more. Again, I'm really sorry for who I missed, but I just feel like this year we've had some of the best guests that we've ever had on the show, and zero offense to any guests who came in other years, but we've sort of shifted a little bit this year, and we've had some fun diving into some more businessy topics, some more leadership type topics, and really kind of diving more into not just the products and services that are part of the channel, but really diving into kind of the people and the processes and the methodologies behind those products and services. And we've had a lot of fun exploring that. So really thankful to everybody who's taken the time to come on as a guest to the show. And I've learned a lot from every one of these guests. I've had takeaways from these conversations. So thankful for that.
Yeah, it's no secret. I think everybody knows you do the booking, and man, you've been on fire this year. So good job.
Well, yeah, the consistency is tough. That's been that's always the hard part, is keeping it up. But yeah, we've had some really great guests on this year. So super grateful for that.
And then number 4, thankful for the HomeTech community, weekly live chats, everybody hanging out in the chat room tonight. We've got Greg, we've got Eddie, we've got Robert. I don't know, Robert's still there. Yep, there he is. Hanging out and chatting with us every night. And also over in the hub, there's a lot of great information that pops up over there daily. I know they were talking about iPad touchscreens and iPad docks today. I've got to go back and look at that. I was kind of out and about today, but I need to get back and see what everybody was talking about in there. But lots of great conversations that have come from this community, this group of people that just come together and want to talk smack about the industry. I don't know. Like, we talk about everything, good and bad. We talk about it all. And it's good to have a group of a community that you can, pop in, lean on, ask a question. I've even had questions. Where do I get this? What do people use for this? And somebody always comes back with a great answer. So it's just a great community that we've built. It's kind of built itself really over the past 6 years. And I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Yeah, totally. I echo that completely. And the community has been great. I think about, for example, the CEDIA wrap-up episode that we did, and having a bunch of people show up for that, and several people come up and provide their perspectives on CEDIA, and that was a lot of fun. And so I totally agree. I just think it's great to have a community of like-minded people here who look at home technology in a particular way. There's lots of different shows out there that cover this space. Each show has, of course, their own unique angle, and I really enjoy engaging with the community of supporters around the podcast. So thank you so much to everybody who listens.
Well, all the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found in our show notes at HomeTech.fm/329. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for the weekly newsletter, which includes even further analysis as well as other industry news that may not have made the show. Again, that link is HomeTech.fm/329.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can join us live in the chat room on Wednesday evenings. We typically start around 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Find out more at HomeTech.fm/live.
Well, Jason, I have the pick of the week, and I think this is the pick of the year. I'm a big automation fan, as you know, and I came across this thing, and unfortunately, well, I don't know. Is it still running right now? It only runs during the day.
I love this.
So this is beautiful. Oh, it's running right now. So I'm going to share it with the group. This is a project somebody came up with, and you can send an email to this email address and watch their live stream. And they have a printer that will print your email, and it goes up a conveyor belt. It will stop in front of a camera so you can read and the world can read what you emailed to them. And then
there it goes.
Sheet of paper will continue to go up the conveyor belt into a dumpster that is on fire. That is on fire. It's amazing. This is all automated.
Well, here comes somebody. What's he doing? Oh, looks like a piece of paper got stuck.
It got stuck. Yeah.
They've literally got people manning it. That is hilarious.
Yep. So it only runs for I think from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central. So not the one true time zone, but I applaud the effort they have put into this. This is great. Looks like I'm just blown away with what they've done here.
Yeah, they really got this figured out. They've got colored lights and this big robotic arm, and you can see the conveyor belt, and this is great. So it says you send an email to dumpsterfire@hey.com with whatever you want to torch. Please use plain text or an image. PG-13 rules apply. And then watch live as your message is created, conveyed, and then dropped into the rolling flames. Step 3, experience catharsis.
Have you listened to the music that's on there? There's been music on there.
Oh, I have not. They got music? Here, let me see.
I think they do.
Oh, yeah.
So it's usually like a nice, peaceful music.
They got some
here we are.
soothing.
Here's a 2020 sucks, and it just went away. Sorry, couldn't get that read that fast enough. It got stuck too. Oh well, they're gonna have to work on their conveyor belt technology because I've noticed a number of them getting stuck about halfway up. So I think
that one just got stuck. Oh, everything just turned crazy colors on mine. Yeah, so it looks like they're having some technical difficulties here with the conveyor belt, and I'm having a little trouble reading these things. But in any event, this is awesome. I love it.
As with all automation projects, can be expected. There are going to be a few glitches.
Says, P.S. We'll only use your email address to notify you about your burn. That's it. And they're offsetting by 3x every bit of CO2 this creates via cool effect. I'm not sure what cool effect is, but I'm loading that now. Carbon offsets.
They're buying trees.
So very conscious of them.
Yeah. I have always wanted to make, and anybody who wants to take me up on this, because I think it would have been great to have in 2020, but I think it's pretty evergreen. You know those Yule log things. Somebody's probably already done this now, but I've always wanted to have a flaming dumpster Yule log, basically, just a dumpster burning on fire with black smoke coming out of it. And I couldn't quite ever figure out how to get the production stuff done on that. So yeah, this is great though. I really like the fact
Good stuff.
that it's all automated. The thing goes up. Oh, there it goes. There's one catching on fire right now. There it goes. Just boom, it's done. Yep.
Oh, that's really funny. Well, go check that out again. Hey, what was the URL here?
It is hey.science.
Hey.science
/dumpster
fire.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Good stuff. Good find here. Hey.science /dumpster fire. If you've got any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or ideas for a show topic or guest, please do give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm. Again, that's feedback@HomeTech.fm.
And we want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day to, I don't know, send emails off to a flaming dumpster to be burned.
I was going to say, talk about dumpster fires.
Well, yeah, that's a great topic.
No shortage of those this year.
Nope.
If you're looking for other ways to support the show, please take a minute to leave us a review on iTunes or in your podcast app of choice. Those positive reviews definitely help more people find the show. So if you're a fan of what we do here at the podcast, help spread the good word by taking a few minutes to leave us a review. We would really appreciate it.
Well, Jason, that wraps up another holiday week in home technology. You're going to have a great weekend or a great holiday tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed. I know people will be listening to this on Friday, so we'll be after Thanksgiving, but we're on Wednesday today. So I'll take the opportunity, Seth, to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving, as well as everybody listening to the show. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving, those of you in the chat room as well. And thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being a part of the home tech community again. We really do appreciate it.
Well, with that said, Jason, I couldn't say it better. With that said, have a great weekend, man.
All right, you as well. We'll talk to you next week.